Have you ever wanted to make an impact on the world? What can you do and how can this be achieved? Celebrated campaigner and Order of Canada recipient Al Etmanski has the answers in his new book, Impact. Today, I'm lucky enough to join Al to learn a little bit more about his book and to gather his insights on how to turn good ideas into world-changing action. Congratulations on your book. How does it feel?
Thank you. It feels great, actually. It was a labor of love, one that I lived with for almost 3 years, and I think I learned to be a much better writer as a result of it, and I overwrote it by like tens and tens and tens of thousands of words. And so it's great to have it done, but it's also great to have it lean and I hope straightforward and accessible to anyone who's interested in making the world a better place. So the feedback's been great. I'm loving it. I'm particularly loving the feedback I'm getting from a younger generation of folks, activists, but also people who care deeply about the world and are trying to figure out a way to do something about that. And that's kind of who I wrote the book for, as well as for people who are in their 20s and 30s.
Awesome. Well, let's take a step back quickly. Can you tell us a little bit more about your career in social innovation and what have the highlights been so far?
Well, I probably haven't had a career in social innovation. Social innovation is actually just the current term that people are, or one of the, yeah, it's a buzzword, one of the current terms that people are using to describe making the world a better place. And I've always been a community organizer. So as a community organizer, you just learn to surf the latest terms. Yeah. And so right now, a whole bunch of us are surfing the phrase social innovation. But in terms of highlights or kind of influential moments, probably one of the most influential moments for me was the birth of my second daughter, who we were told had a disability. And that kind of, led me into this marvelous world of disability, which is not at all what I thought it was. It's full of immensely talented, creative, ingenious people who have gifts to give, and their biggest challenge is having an opportunity to give their gifts. And so that, I would say that really made me a much more honest community organizer than I would have been.
So I know you sort of touched on it, but what really drove you to write this book?
Well, for the last 10 years, I've been, as I said, surfing this emerging phrase, social innovation. And in order to make sense of all the reading and the people that my wife and I met during this exploration, we kind of, almost as self-defense, said, we sense some patterns here. We sense 6 patterns. So we started to we started to speak about them, present on them, and finally, one day my wife, Vicky Kamak, said to me, I think you should stop talking about it and write it. So the motivation to write the book was to try and see if I could make even more sense out of all of this learning that we had about this emerging concept of social innovation.
So what does social innovation mean to you?
It's a combination of the old ways of making the world a better place, along with some new ways of making the world a better place, with a dash of mystery or surprise.
So I know this book has been described as a guidebook for social innovation. Was that your intention?
No, actually, I'm delighted to receive that. It really was an attempt to try and capture the difference between short-term success with social change and long-term impact. And I think my experience is not unique, and that is that you can actually tick off all the boxes that will make you a successful recipient of grants. You can receive awards and honors for your organization and even for yourself. And then wake up someday and realize, oh my God, the dial hasn't moved. There's still as many people poor today as there were yesterday or before I did my things, or there's as many people homeless, or climate change issues have gotten worse, not better. And so there's this paradox between, short-term success and long-term impact. And so that's what I'm trying to write about in the book, is how to move our ability or our prowess or our capability to have longer-term impact.
Al truly is an inspiration and a leader in the world of social innovation. If you've ever wondered how you can make a difference, make sure to pick up a copy of his book, Impact. For City Lights on Novus TV, I'm Christina Meng.